Hello there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam Hind. I'm your host, and I am joined today by a very special guest. Today, we're going to be joined by CEO of Naxum. Ben Dixon is going to be jumping on in to talk to us about all things referral marketing. I know one of the greatest challenges that we're experiencing in growing our businesses is how do we do appropriate reach outs? How do we reach cold audiences? How do we approach our warm audiences in a way that is going to grow our business and not feel cheesy, that's not going to leave people feeling uneasy, and most importantly, that actually gets us results? Ben and I had a really candid conversation and a lot of laughs along the way as well. Ben's experience goes back many years. His family found direct selling back in 2006. And fast forward to today, he runs a software company that helps keep people systemized in their approach to their direct selling business, whether they're in party plan, network marketing, or can I say it, MLM. And we certainly talked about all of the stigma attached to this industry as well. I know that you're going to love this episode, but most importantly, I know how many gold nuggets Ben shared during this episode. So make sure you have your pen and paper handy because you'll regret it if you don't. So with no further ado, let's jump on in. Grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee, relax, sit back and enjoy my little chat with Ben Dixon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. You all know me, I'm Sam, but I am joined by a very handsome-looking individual here, the amazing Ben Dixon, who is CEO of Naxum. Welcome on in, Ben.
Hey, Sam, thanks for having me here today. Looking forward to jumping in on the show.
Such a pleasure. And what I'm really excited to chat to you about today is something that I think, is such a relevant topic for our audience, and that's referral marketing. This is your passion, your expertise. And so I'm really keen to kind of pull this one apart, maybe, leave some of those magic golden nuggets for all of our listeners to sort of, pull from and use in their business. But before we get into all of that, can you tell our audience a little bit about Ben Dixon?
Well, I thank you so much for having me on, Sam. And referral marketing is totally a passion in my family's life. I grew up in a small farm community outside of Chicago and watched my sister join a referral marketing company when she was just 23 years old. As a 6-year-old kid, was running my own landscaping company at a time, and trucks and trailers and employees, all this stuff you work with at a very young person, and watched her have a ton of success just quickly in that space and said, if my sister can do that, I wonder what I can do. And so fell in love with the space. I got started on my 18th birthday and made $0 my first 10 months in the space, trying to reinvent the wheel instead of following the proven system. And was just really grateful that I got humbled and had mentors and people who cared enough to teach me the way to do this business, and was very blessed the next 4 years as a rep in the space. And it changed our life forever. And I really fell in love with how referral marketing, direct sales, network marketing, MLM, when done correctly, can be a vehicle for families to take themselves to a different season in their life, to take themselves to the next level instead of depending on anyone else in the world. What an opportunity for them to change their future together. So I've been in love with the space for, 16 years now. So it goes fast.
Awesome. And I love that you've got a history in the industry as well. And we're going to talk a bit about that. But how do you go from having that long history of actually being in the trenches and doing the work in network marketing or MLM, whatever people identify it as? I know it's very different around the globe. We've always got to be so careful with that. But, what motivated you? And you've moved into a different space now. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do now? We're going to talk a bit about Naxum and what that does. But, what was that transition for you going out of, having your network marketing business and into what you're doing today?
Yeah. So 4 years into being a rep in this space, a group of peers who are also reps in my company and I built a blogging system that we ended up selling to a company called Zango and a company called Usana. And we ended up moving out of being reps in this space to supporting the space as a whole.
Yeah.
How the last 12 years I've served on the vendor side of the space. So not as a distributor in the field or as an owner or an equity holder of a direct sales company, but in running the platforms and software and the tools that the members use to build their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I found was that if you don't have to use all the technology in the world, but by using some of the technology in the world, you can create a system that gives people confidence so that people who have never done this business before can look at, well, what is it going to take for me to be successful?
Yeah.
And by having a system in place that's working, that someone can follow step by step to go win, gives new people confidence to know that, if I follow these steps, I'll be successful. And it gives people confidence to refer others because they say, hey, my friend, they'll be able to follow the steps just like I did. And
Yeah.
and that thought has been just a core tenet of everything I've done the last 12 years. We call them speed systems, and think about unpacking what should it feel like to share at this company? How should we be presenting to others? What should we do to enroll people? How should we elevate and train them once they join the team? And what can they do to duplicate the process? And you're right. There's a lot of different referral marketing companies in the space. Speed looks very different at companies all across the world, but it's been really fun behind the scenes to serve in this capacity. Many times as a top earner in this space, it is all about you and your greatness and your story and how it affects others. And I didn't need the ego trip anymore, truthfully, and was just like done with that part and was ready for the good part of people who have never been able to do this sport to make their first $1,000 a month or their first $2,000 a month. And that's the part that I've always loved. And so just look for more ways to make that happen for people.
Yeah, so good. It actually brings up another little question for me, and I'm sure you'll be able to shed some light on this. I know everyone's capable of being successful in this industry or in any business without all of this technology.
Sure.
And, I think there's always that question, do I really need more technology? Do I need to be using these systems in order to be successful? And I think, to me, the answer is no, but there is a really important place for systems in any business. Can you shed some light on, where systems become important?
Yeah, well, you think about the amount of time it's going to take someone to go earn their first income in this business. And if we take away all the systems and no tools, and we go back to faxing and orders like I had to do in the beginning, we had no replicated website.
There was no fax for me. It was handwrite it.
And I had to fill out a triplicate form, fax
Yes.
it in. So if we go back to all of that, that's why it took 10 months to earn money in that company. And some people took 2 years or 3 years. And today, a lot of people, new people who join your teams, expect to make some money in 30 days or 60 days.
Yep.
And so systems play a critical role in shortcutting the things they need to do to earn their first check. Now, are they going to earn a lot of money with just systems and not growing their own skills? Of course not. They need to grow their skills as a person, grow their abilities over time to be able to earn significant money in this space. But can you use tools and systems that feel like a top leader sitting next to someone suggesting what to do next? Like many of the predictive tools that are available today that have only been around the last 4 years. These types of systems are so elaborate today that people who have never done this business before can at least get their first check and start learning, oh, this is what it feels like as they're growing their skills to get to the levels of their goals.
Yeah. So momentum is a really important factor here, right?
Yeah. And knowing they can do it and being able to give your field freedom to not be judging, like, oh, is this the type of person who could make it the 8 months it's going to take to be able to make your first check in this company? Like, that's a big filter to force them to have. If they feel like, man, anybody can come here and if they follow these steps in the first 30 days, they make their first check. If it can get to that level of simplicity, it takes away a lot of the judgment of who should I invite. And the other thing that's important to that systems question, do it yourself, that I think everyone needs to know is that not everybody's got the same goals in this space. Many times, if you're someone watching the Oxano podcast, you probably have bigger goals on watching Direct Selling Accelerator because you're here right now and you're listening to this and you're watching this. You're probably not someone who's just trying to make an extra $100 a month, right? You're probably someone who wants to make thousands of dollars a month. So you got to remember, not everyone has the same goals. And if we can have a whole bunch of people even just make $100 a month, that's a big deal. There's a lot of people who deliver packages for Uber Eats here in America or DoorDash or drive people around on Uber one day a week just to make that extra $100-200.
Yeah.
And we can fulfill that as well.
Yeah, awesome. So, talking about systemizing things, what do you think are the most important things in this business to be systemizing?
Well, you think of your daily method of activities. I think everything's about daily habits. So a real commitment to how many brand new people am I going to reach out to every day, no matter
Mhm.
what?
Yep.
How many people am I going to follow up with every day, no matter what? Set minimums. They don't have to be your top, but set the minimum of like what you're going to
Mm.
do. Like none of us would go a day without having at least one meal, right? We all eat food every day. Would you go a day without drinking water? No, we drink water, so our bodies make it through the day. Same thing in your business. If your business is going to be alive, it needs new conversations and then continued conversations, follow up, and then grow in your mind. This business is a new venture for
Mhm.
people. You can't use your same thoughts and your same thinking and your same levels of action to create something new. That's insanity. That's not going to happen. That would be like that that would be like the idea of saying, okay, I'm going to learn how to fly a helicopter, and I'm going to be a helicopter pilot, but I'm not going to take any lessons, and I'm not going to change my habits. I'm going to go about my same habits all day long, and
We have a
magically I will
child
be a
like this
helicopter
right
pilot.
now, Ben. Can All right, sorry. Continue.
Yep. Yeah. I think I will be, yeah, like your family with the jet skiing, right? I will be a family, I will be a family. I'm going to be the absolute best skier in the world. Well, it's going to take some practice, you know? You're going to have to, if you want to learn those moves, you're going to have to do the work. And so the part that I find so critical is there needs to be a commitment to daily learning and
Mm.
set a time. If it's only 15 minutes right now, it's 15 minutes. But you need to be growing your mind every day, 15 minutes. So new conversations, follow-up conversations, daily growing your mind. And then social media. Sam talks about that a lot here on this podcast. And sharing in social media is one of the easiest ways to have a pipeline of curiosity
Mm.
and qualified people who actually need your product and service wanting to find out more about you. And we'll get to talk about that more. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, uh, let's talk a little bit now about how your software Naxum helps direct sellers with this, and then I want to pick your brain about a few of these areas that we've started to. We've got a few cans over here with some worms in them that we started to open, so we'll get there.
Sure. Well, so Naxum started as a marketing systems provider way back in 1999.
Mhm.
And when I met the team in 2010, that's what they were doing, building landing pages, CRM, sales tools to help people sell. In 2013, we moved into traditional direct selling software, the
Mhm.
commission tracking, the shopping carts. And what was really unique is most people who run their own direct sales business are in this really challenging place where if you don't have a CTO and 4 or 5 programmers, you're trying to bundle together 4 or 5 different services to run your entire company. Some of you who are sellers watching this show say, "Oh yeah, that's why we have to log into 3 different apps or 2 different places." It's because your company you're promoting is trying to pick and grab 4 or 5 different things and piece them all together piecemeal. And what Naxum's big advantage was way back in 2013 was we built a platform called Unify, where a single system did all the marketing tools and the commission tracking that people needed. And that's evolved over the years. Companies today want to provide sales tools that actually work. So it's
Yeah.
it's not just enough to have a compliant selling system to protect the company and have compliance right with the content, but the content has to actually work in the marketplace when you use it as
Yeah.
the people out there sharing. If you don't get results, you're just going to go say whatever you want to say to go get results. And companies don't want that. They want you to share a compliant message that actually works in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the work we do today is creating platforms that feel like a top leader sitting next to you, suggesting what to do next. And we're tracking. We're tracking what you're
Mm.
willing to do, what you're not willing to do, out of what you actually do as the person, what is actually getting sales, so that we
Yeah.
can double down on the things right now that are working in social
Mm.
media and in text messaging and online marketing and person to person marketing and
Mm.
do more of what's working and less of what's not because it changes, Sam, and it changes all the time. We saw this with COVID. I
Yeah.
mean, during the time of COVID,
You mentioned the C
so
word.
much change. Oh, the C word. We're gonna get banned on YouTube. No, no, no. It's good. So the C word I'm teasing, we're not gonna say anything about the C word except that it changed business forever, right? It changed markets forever. And so when COVID happened, you saw that the companies that were willing to adjust to like, well, how are people
Mm.
communicating? Where how are we having conversations today? They
Yeah.
did phenomenally well. And others who just didn't quite know or didn't weren't willing to try enough things
Mm.
didn't do well. Then he went out of business. And so in referral marketing, that part's really special. And I will say more than anything, it's what we love to do more than just tracking commissions and banging out commissions and shipping products is providing a system that when people see it, they say, oh, I understand what I need to do.
Yeah.
So they have a path to win, that they have the confidence that they can do this.
Yeah. Awesome. Now I'm going to ask you a really hairy question here, Ben.
Okay.
I want to know, you've got a background and I've got my answers to this as well. So I'm not going to leave you hanging, but you've got a background in this industry. I've got a background in this industry. We've watched this industry change over the years. I want to know, what do you think is the best and the worst thing about this industry right now?
Oh, well, the worst, I'm gonna start with the worst, then I'll go back
You
to the
go right
best.
on in
So
there. Yeah.
I'm gonna go right into the worst. The worst is just the deceit. It's people thinking that in order to win in this space, you need to lie or convince or coerce people to come join your opportunity and think the fake it till you make it thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't I can't imagine fake it till you make it. That whole idea, and the truth is today, because of Airbnb and Turo, like if you want to rent a mansion for a day and you want to rent 3 Lamborghinis, you can do it on an app on your phone in a few minutes,
Yeah.
and you can go make a video and show everyone this rented mansion and the rented sports cars, and you can look like King Kong for your social media. And what a joke. And so the key is that there's this kind of older mindset of stuff accumulation that was in the
Mm.
90s and the 80s, where young people today want experience accumulation, right?
Yeah.
And so both can be idols in people's lives. But what you find out, and of the dark side of the space, is just people hopping from thing to thing and faking some sort of accomplishment or lifestyle to look good. That's just not it. And it's super cheesy, gang, at the end of the day. The other dark side of the space is the lying of kind of the MBA club. So we there's some people who think the space, once they'll make it in one company and will look for deals, they'll look for subcontracts. That's the
Mm.
dirtiest part of the
Yeah.
space. So instead of actually earning their money in the compensation plan in the referral marketing company, will request a minimum of the company they're working from. And if companies disclose that and
Mm.
said that out loud, oh yeah, we're giving this person a loan or a bridge loan, or we're paying them a salary as they transition their team over here,
Mm.
then hey, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But it's never right if they don't disclose it, and people think, oh, why did that person get to the top of the comp plan so fast when the rest of us didn't? So those are all the dark sides, and that was truthfully what disgruntled me as a rep.
Mm.
There was a season where people were showing income that was years old, and I didn't
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
couldn't stay in that space and wanted people to be more authentic. And so what's the best part? We just were like all mucky and muddy now,
Yeah,
right?
like there's a lot of
Let's
people right
wipe
now thinking, I
wipe
don't
wipe
know.
our arms off. What is Ben talking about? That's the mucky stuff. And the truth is, gang, you could go to any industry. We could go to mortgages in
Yeah.
America, and there's really good people who sell mortgages, and there's mucky people who do mortgages. We could talk about real estate agents. There is like very crooked, illegal, horrible real estate agents in America that we could make fun of for hours on this show.
Not in
And
Australia.
some of their
There's
stories,
no crooked
no,
real estate agents
no,
in Australia.
no illicit real estate dealings in Australia at all. Yeah, but and then there's really really good real estate agents who are wonderful people. And so what I just shared comes down to not just the reps but the owners. You have to remember that. If the owners of the business are similar, like a mucky real estate agent, there's going to be mucky policies and mucky things that happen. But there's also really, really good people in this space. There's amazing individuals in this space who didn't need to open referral marketing and direct sales
Mm.
companies, who are already extremely wealthy and
Mm.
who chose this vehicle because they saw it as a vehicle that empowers people. I
Mm.
mean, think about opening a restaurant in America. Gosh, you'd spend $100,000 on your lease just for the 3 years of your summit in a tiny little spot. You could be opening a bubble tea space and you're going to spend $100,000. Then you're going to pay for a commercial kitchen and your inspections. You're going to be in this thing for like 150 by the time you want to open up. This is to sell like bubble tea, okay? Not even, we're not talking about a steakhouse here, everybody,
Yeah.
okay? And then you're going to sit there and hope that people physically come to your restaurant and order enough $7 bubble teas for you to be able to pay for that rent. And I got to tell you, gang, that's a lot of risk for a regular family to take,
Mm,
to like hope they can get to the next level in their life through business ownership and all the leverage that comes with owning a business and leveraged income.
mm,
And then here's direct sales and network marketing and party plan and referral marketing and social referral, all the little flavors of referral marketing.
mm.
And in many of these flavors, for under $1,000, okay, we're talking like two hotel stays, two hotel nights, okay, uh, anywhere in the world. Hey, that same amount of money, what you would do for like a weekend getaway with your spouse,
Mm.
you can start a business that has the potential of making way more than a bubble tea stand.
Yeah.
And so that's the part that's magical and the part that's fun and love it. After my 6 years in space, I get to speak at conventions all over the world for our clients using our platforms. I'm
Mm.
headed to Las Vegas again next week to speak at an event. And I love people that come up afterwards and they say, "Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
thing you shared. I know someone in my life who thought they couldn't do this business. They're kind of stuck right now. And now that you guys have done that, oh my gosh, they're going to be so happy that they can do this now." And that's why I do this. Like, I love that. It's like
Yeah.
awesome. Someone was feeding themselves excuses to why they
Mm.
couldn't make it in referral marketing. And now that we gave them this tool, this path, this widget, they say, "Oh my gosh, that fixed it for me." And it's like, really?
Mm.
Just a little bit of code fixed it for you? And it's like, you sure did. And I love that.
It's amazing. It's amazing the excuses people do make and just what they need to look. I love what you've said there, Ben. And I said I wasn't going to leave you hanging. So I just really, because my thing that I dislike about this industry is actually leads into the next question I want to ask you. But,
Mm.
I actually had an incident last week where I invited somebody who many years ago I attended a conference with them. Um, when I first went into business, this is somebody who specializes in training consultants and solopreneurs. And, they've written lots of books. There's someone I really respected. And I thought, I'd love to get this person on the podcast to speak to our audience about some of these amazing skills that they imparted on me all those years ago. This person
Sure.
still trains. And I was blown away when I got the response from this person. Now, I would have it to read to you but I want to actually save this one for a full on episode where we're going to talk about pyramid selling. Like, I'm just going to totally call it out off the back of this. But this person came back to me and said, "I've been to your website," and essentially he said, "You can do so much better than this." He said, I'm not interested in speaking to your people. I'm not interested in having anything to do with this industry and helping people with these businesses because of the experience he believed to be true, which taps into what you were just talking about.
Mm.
And it frustrated me so much because, you know why you do what you do, but sometimes it doesn't really hit home as, you know
Yeah.
it, but you don't feel it. And it was in that moment that I just went, I am so passionate about the fact that this industry gets some people out of bed in the morning. There are some
Sure.
people that felt stuck. There are people that didn't have purpose. There are, specifically, I'm going to speak into the mums right now because I can resonate with those
Sure.
people, but the mums who felt like they didn't have a purpose, that felt like the only thing that defined them was their kids. And suddenly they've got something that gives them connection to other humans that understand them, other people that can help build them up, things that they can learn. As we know, this industry is so much about learning. You spoke about training and growing your mind. And I just realized that although this is a business, it's so much more than that. And the fact that we get to support people, and in some cases, it's the thing that gets them out of bed and gives them meaning
Yeah.
and purpose. The money
Yeah.
to the side. And I just wanted to, I thought, oh, Greg's got this philosophy, never argue with a Fruit Loop. And that was what I had to remind myself in this case. I was like,
Yeah.
I just want to come back to this person and just fully argue this point. But I had to let it go because I could tell this person had such a bad experience with the industry that
Yeah.
no amount of arguing was going to change that.
Yeah. And I always try to bring back to there's bad apples in every industry. And if
Yeah.
we said we're going to just write off mortgages because there's bad apples in the mortgage industry, like how are you going to finance your real estate portfolio? Like go meet a good one. And
Yeah.
and there's just it is sad and a shame that some people think it's all the same because it's not. And
Mm,
even the word MLM, right? And the brand of the word MLM is in the
mm,
garbage right now.
mm.
You'll notice every company says, well, we're affiliate marketing, we're influencer
Yeah.
marketing. And they're moving away from that that thought of pyramid selling, and it's a good thing. It's healthy. It's the
Yeah.
right thing. It wasn't meant to become what it became. And now we're feeling that and saying that, oh, maybe the way that was sold, isn't
Mm.
how it should have been sold.
Mm.
And I believe in multiple levels of compensation and leverage, but it's like, well, are we rewarding the people who are doing the real work more than we're rewarding the people above? And what kind of gotchas do we have? You see some of the
Mm.
weighted plans where, the vast 80+% of the income is going to just a few people when the ratios are millions. And that's what feels evil. And that's what agencies have stepped in and everything else because of that. And so
Yeah.
I'll share with you even on the data side at Naxum. I mean, we build comp plans all the time, and over half of the comp plans we're requested to build in the last 2 years
Mm.
are two-level affiliate programs, simply because there's a lot of new people entering the space that say, I want the majority of the income to go to the person who did the work that made the sale.
Mm.
And sure, let's give an override to the person that helped train them and worked with them. But that's all we really want in our program. And okay, that's their philosophy. It's not to say that I have other clients who pay off unlimited levels of depth with binary
Mm.
compensation, and they're totally fine and doing it in legitimate ways. But it really comes down to are we compensating people for the value they're bringing to the table
Yeah.
properly?
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings me then to the thing that I don't love about the industry, and that is exactly what has caused these problems in the first place, which is that stigma that this industry is attached to. I said to you earlier in this episode, I got to be careful sometimes using the word MLM. That's why I'll always say direct
Sure.
selling, network marketing, MLM, party
Yeah.
plan, because the thing is that, we've worked with some companies before who are direct selling MLM network marketing companies, and they'll say, don't ever use the word MLM in,
Yeah.
in any training that you do with our field, because we don't want to be attached to that. And the reason for this is because of the small few people
Yeah.
who make their approaches, and this is where we're going to talk a little bit about the right way to approach people, but they approach people
Sure.
with a hidden agenda rather than making it about genuinely showing up where people need them to show up. And I've got
Agreed.
so many examples of this where one particular person at the end of every month, and I use her for all my training. I don't name and shame, but I use her content for all of our training for the what not to do. And I rely on her messages every month because it's just so perfect. But I got one on, what was it, Sunday, which it was 31st.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her message, like I could have just set a clock by it. It was the end of the month and knew it was going to come, and here it was. And it was, that, hey, Sam, just checking in to see if I can help you with your skincare needs this month. We've got a special, and here's this, and here's this, and here's this, and here's this. It was an essay. And what was really interesting was I deliberately tested her out a few days earlier. She doesn't know I did this, but I sent her a message just touching base with her and asking her a question just a couple of days before. And not only did she not respond to it, but when she wrote me her essay, I responded back and said, did you see my message above? And I gave her the little pointy finger. She wrote back and went, oh, no, let me go back and look. And I thought, this is the thing that gives this industry a bad name, because people are more interested in, and not everyone, but some people are just so interested in what they need. They don't care about everyone's a number. Everyone's a number. And this is the thing I want to talk to you about today, because this drives me nuts because it's so easy to fix. So, Ben, you've got a system in place that helps people do these reach outs, but can you speak into some of the do's and don'ts perhaps of doing those, particularly this is a warm reach out in this case, but let's talk first of all about the cold reach outs, because you made mention at the start of today that we should be doing those cold reach outs every day. So how do we do this appropriately?
Yeah, so great question. And I actually teach even my own salespeople that there is no such thing as a cold reach out today, in the sense that it's so easy to
Yeah.
go look at someone's profile and take 30 seconds,
Yeah.
whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever you are, take 30 seconds to find a way to be relevant.
Yeah.
You're just being lazy. If you're picking up the phone and saying, is this John Johnson? Oh, good. Well, do I have an offer for you today? Like you didn't,
Yeah.
you need to be able to authentically say, I was online today and read this about you and said, oh my gosh, we should connect. If you can't say that in a conversation, don't dial. So
Mm.
you kind of hear that for a second. Like it is purely authentic on a cold call to Google the person, to go to their LinkedIn, to go to their Facebook. I'm not talking about taking a half an hour. You introverts that want to take a half an hour. I love introverts. Introverts change the world. You're amazing. But some of you have that personality where you're like so afraid of picking up. You're like, at least I'm running my business today. I spent a half an hour researching two people. And it's like, no, 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 no. Set a timer. Okay, 30 seconds. Maybe you need 60 in the beginning.
Mm,
Say a minute. Go read their profile and
mm,
find something you can authentically say, hey, I saw you were into this and thought we should connect. If you
yeah.
can't do that, you, you're just being really lazy, gang, on the number side. So then the first is just a belief system. Okay, there's a three-step process I've taught for almost 15 years that's still really relevant today. And it's a simple belief system that all the people you'd require to earn a massive six-figure income in a referral market, they already exist. Those people already exist. You don't have to convince or coerce them or create them out of thin air. The people who want your product and service, whatever it is, right, already exist. And if only they knew you existed, would be your customer and you would achieve
Oh,
that. So that's
so
my
good.
that's
Yeah.
that's my belief is
Yeah.
that like all the people I already require, they already exist. So I don't need to be an arse about this. I can go, I'm filtering. I'm not convincing or coercing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about who are those people? Where are they hanging out? What are they already doing? And I'm getting there. And if you're disconnected from this gang, there's a simple 3 question exercise I'll walk us through today in just 3 minutes that will walk you through how to do this. And it's 3 questions. So you could write down what motivates people? This idea of pain or pleasure. What motivates people to be the kind of person that if they knew you existed would buy from you today? Well,
Hmm.
that's probably going to be a pain, not a pleasure, right? Because they're someone who's going to buy from you today, so it's a big deal to them in their life.
Mm,
So then you ask the next question is what pains, right, do people who want to X, right, what experience? So let's pick weight loss as an example because there's
hmm.
lots of weight loss companies in the referral marketing space.
Hmm.
But what pains do people who want to lose weight experience? So Sam, we can think about this, right? They have low energy. They don't feel sexy to their spouse anymore. They're exhausted. Maybe they want to do sports with their kids and they don't feel like they can keep up. Their doctor told them so, right? What these are the pains people experience. So now here's the question that has some assumptions in it that as soon as you get this, and you might not get this watching the accelerator today, you might get it tomorrow when you're on your way to something else and it'll hit you in the head and say, oh my gosh, that's what it was. But listen to this third one because this is what's going to really help you. Okay. What do people who have these pains, so referring to the pains we just talked about, low energy, not
Hmm.
feeling appealing anymore, so what do people who have these pains already do to solve them?
Yeah, that's
Let's
such
do it
a
again.
powerful question.
Yeah. Yeah, think about it. So what do the people who have these pains already do to solve them? Because here's the key. There's an assumption about all the people on this planet, the billions of people, and the trillions of dollars on this planet. Many of us live in so much scarcity. We think I'm only trying to make, these small goals. I just want to make 100,000 US a year. It's like, well, you could have a lot more if you just created more value. But so so think about what they already do to solve it. So
Mm,
it assumes there's two kinds of people. One is the person I call the couch potato. The couch potato says, hey, I know I have this problem, right? My doctor tells me I need to lose weight. I know I have this problem. I don't have enough energy to play sports with the kids. I know I have this problem, but it's not my fault. And there's nothing I can do to
mm,
solve it. I use the words couch potato to explain this person because it's their belief system.
yeah.
Okay. I'm not shaming them or fat shaming. I'm not doing any of that. I'm saying in their mind, it's not their fault. There's nothing they can do to solve it. Now,
Hmm.
there's a second person in the world who I call the sprinter. And they're the person who says, I know I have this problem, just like the couch potato, and I own it. And
Hmm.
by God, I'm doing X to solve it.
Hmm.
And that X, gang, that is the secret sauce to all of this. And you
Hmm.
write down those 3 questions. That X is what they're already doing to solve it. These are people already taking action in their life, already decided with the belief system, hey, I know I have this challenge, but I'm gonna not gonna stay here. I'm moving to the next season of life. I'm gonna get better. I'm going forward. I'm taking action in my life. And weight loss, like just to go back to our example,
Mm.
diet and exercise, folks. Diet and exercise. So what are you putting in your mouth? What's leaving your body, right? And so you just start writing down diet and exercise. So couple top diets, couple different exercise programs that people are about. And here's the beauty of social media. People are putting themselves in groups. People are
Mhm.
liking pan pages. People
Yeah.
are following people on Instagram. They're following hashtags. They're doing all these things to self-identify as that person.
Yeah.
The couch potatoes aren't doing it. They're doing nothing. But the sprinters are doing it. And so if you have time, you trade your time for going and making friends with those people in those groups and doing it properly by actually taking a moment to read their profile and saying something genuine and swapping phone numbers. Okay, that's time. And some of you don't have time and you have money. And so then you advertise to those groups of people. And so whether you have time or money, doesn't matter who you are. You're either trading time for leads or money for leads. Whoever you are in this world, as you're doing it, people are already putting themselves in little pools for you to fish in, who actually need what you have. And so like yes, you go to your warm market in referral marketing. We talk about this stuff when you flip from cold to warm, but you don't go to your whole warm market. Like, you got to hear that for a second. We go to our warm market, but we don't go to the whole warm market. And it's not because we're afraid. It's because the whole warm market doesn't need our products and services. Like my wife, I think, Sam, you've seen a picture of my wife and my kids, right? I showed you a picture of my family. My wife is gorgeous. Kaylani was Miss Ilocos Norte, and she is beautiful. So you're all going to start looking at my wife.
Yeah.
Kay and I have been together. Yeah, we've been together 15 plus years. I love, love, love. Kay is gorgeous. We had the top income earner from a very famous skincare company that everyone on this line would know, is one of my neighbors here in Chicagoland. He owns a bunch of acreage right up from my acreage, and had us over for lunch. And his wife was trying to sample her skincare with my wife. And she said she was starting to get the bottle, and she goes, "But you don't need this." And so I share that to say that everyone in your warm market is not your customer. Like, if you sell skincare and there's someone who already has gorgeous skin and it's whatever they're doing is working out for them, they're not your customer, right? Just as much if you have a weight loss product and there's someone in your life who's anorexic, you're not going to sell them a weight loss product like this. So just as an extreme example, I don't mean to shame anything, but it's that same thought that it's healthy for you to use the three questions. What motivates people? What are people who have these pains already doing to solve them? Hey, what do people and use those questions, not just in cold market prospecting, but in warm market as well.
Yeah.
It's just smart. Yeah.
Super powerful. Yeah, I love that. And I love those three questions. I'm sure everyone's just been like frantically writing those down because that's awesome. And I think we spoke about this recently because we had two questions that we use, which is so similar. And that's the what keeps them up at night and what gets them up in the morning. But it's still that same concept of meeting them where they're at, not where you want them to be.
Yeah.
Because you can talk to someone till you're blue in the face about what you think they need, but until they believe it, until they feel it, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, it's such a good thought, Sam, because you ask why do internet marketers, like, zoom out from referral marketing a little bit. Why do internet marketers in the world start their funnels with a $1 offer? You guys ever wondered that? You watch a video online and it says, for only $1, you get all this stuff. Do you know why they do that? It's because they want to know, are you the kind of person that's even willing to spend $1 on yourself? Right?
Yeah,
they just want to
such a good point.
filter that first. And so what's so beautiful about what you just said is, like, we want people who already have the belief system that they deserve change in their life, that they deserve to solve whatever it is, the challenge that your product solves.
Yeah.
So if you think about the challenges and pains your product solves, who are the people who are already spending money solving that?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So good. Now, I do want to talk about the warm for a moment. And when I say the warm, I'm talking about past customers, people that you've already had, a relationship or connection with. So let's use our friend over here as an example for a moment, because I know that one of the things that a lot of people really struggle with is, okay, so I get a customer, I sell to them once or I sign them up, or let's just say maybe they can't, maybe they're not a customer yet. Maybe they asked us some questions, but they never actually came across the line. So we've got that now warm connection with them. We've had a conversation of some sort. The next step is the bit that I think a lot of people get stuck with, because they want to do those reach outs. They want to stay in contact. But the way that they do it, I think, can be really difficult. And one of the things I notice is that it's the people that feel like they're being cheesy are the ones that usually are. They feel uncomfortable with the way that they're doing it. They don't really have another way. And it's actually leading them to dislike their business because, it's not working, because it's not genuine. So, we've got some methods that we use to help people with this process. But I'd love to know, because I know that this is a big part of
Yeah.
your platform and your training, how do you train people or recommend that people make those connections in a way that is appropriate and actually works?
So there's a great question. Some are solved by human relationships and some are solved by technology. So
Mm,
there's a bit of both in here in camps. It's not one or the other.
yeah.
Okay, so like one of the keys I always say is that I use a CRM, and
Mm.
CRM is a customer relationship management platform. I use one on my phone, I use one on my computer. I take notes, okay? My memory is not perfect. So you're not a super salesperson. Like, what are you trying to experience? And they say, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay. All right, got it. And so I write it down.
All right, this is my little black book.
Ah,
So I'm all over tech. I get that. I understand that. And I use my contact system. But every lead I ever get, every conversation I have with anybody, yeah, okay. So you,
I'm a Grant Cardone 10Xer guy. Yeah, always.
I
Yeah.
love it. So
There you
good.
go. Yeah.
But everyone's in a tab. And
Mm.
and each and every one of them I jot down, and I just keep this in my handbag. And so yeah, I will write down, what their kids' names were and what the birthday was. And it doesn't have to
Hmm.
be tech, but that being said, tech's always with you. So that does make life a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, my iPhone contacts and synced to my technology is incredibly robust. And it doesn't have to be, but you have to care enough to ask. And
Yeah.
then it's as simple as setting a reminder, gang. Like if your friend says, I want to lose 15 pounds by my daughter's wedding, and the daughter's getting married in 6 months, you kind of do the math and say, okay, that's 15 pounds in 6 months. Like, okay, doable. But so what might you do to be the good friend, as Sam's talking about?
Mm,
Well, you might send, and here's what's different. Some of your direct selling companies bring a lot of this tech to you and do a lot of this work for you. They provide recipe guides.
yeah.
They provide guides on calorie trackers and apps on your phone to track. And then over here, some don't. Some direct sales companies are like, here's the vitamins, good luck. And they don't provide any of that stuff.
Mhm.
And so that's when you get creative by taking a little bit of time and thinking about how you can help those people.
Mm,
It may be that you download a couple different PDFs for free from some of your favorite paleo
so
cooks
good.
and your favorite
Yeah.
how to juice at home guides and your favorite other ones. Maybe you go ahead and get an article about the power of drinking water and you send your friend an Amazon link for the gallon with the timer. Have you seen this thing? Life
No.
changing, Sam. So you saw my glorious, nice little cup as I was on your cast,
Yeah.
but the truth is I drink out of this honker every day. So there's a little timer on it. 7
Oh,
a.m.,
wow.
9
Oh,
a.m.,
cool. What
11,
a good idea.
1. So if you're going through a gallon a day, which gets your
Mm.
metabolism going like crazy, you use a timer. But I share this with you is that you have to care enough to send something relevant. That's not always, hey, are you ready to reorder? Because
Yeah.
if all of your messages are always, hey, are you ready to reorder? You're missing the boat in the relationship. And so blog articles you can share from the company if they have them, wonderful. Recipe guides if they're from the company, wonderful. Uh, Calorie trackers and cool apps from the company if you have them, wonderful.
Mm.
What if you don't? Okay, because I know there's a lot of people here on this line who don't. And if you're a corporate person on this line watching, we give technology. They're building your own technology is always better than them going outside of you to use on MyFitnessPal
Mm.
or a Noom or
Mm.
something else. But there's other things that are not a part of your direct selling company that you can use that help your friend's life to get the goal.
Yeah.
So taking the notes of what they really want to achieve in their life and then just taking a moment to be creative and saying, what should I send them in 2 weeks? What should I send them in a month? What should I send them in 6 weeks that would support them in achieving their goal for the
Mm.
rest of their life? How would I be a good friend? And
Yeah.
literally in this space, you get paid for being a good friend, like an authentic
I
good
love
friend.
that concept. And this is, I heard someone a little while ago on this podcast. She said, I'm just a professional friend maker. That's just what I do. And I was like, I'm totally stealing that. She said, you go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, what a great concept is the whole that just what you said there, how do I be a good friend? Because you're getting paid to be a good friend. And it's not about being not genuine. It's not about coming in with that hidden agenda. It's about,
Sure.
and one of the things that, really hit me a few weeks ago is that when you go in with that intention of being a good friend and not actually planning on what you're going to get out of it, sometimes you get really surprised at what
Totally.
you get. And that might be just and a really amazing friend. It might not be
Yeah.
that you get a sale or a customer or a new team member. You might get something far better. You may learn something amazing from an incredibly clever individual. You may get connected with somebody who becomes that new customer or new team member. But when we go in with an expectation of this is what I want from you, I'm going to be a good friend so I can get that, that's when it all
Totally.
falls to pieces.
Sam, that's total gold what you just shared. People have to hear that again because, gang, the power, it sounds very like humanist and self-fulfilling of this whole like, oh, when you let go of the result of kind of postmodern
Mm,
spiritual stuff. But gang, you have to hear that because what Sam's saying is critical because when you let go of the result and they say, and the universe will provide what it is to you, what I say, well,
mm,
God will bring you blessings, right? In my world. But what you would say is that you give God space to bless you when you
mm,
let go of the result. Because some of us think we want one thing, and you'll be amazed. Like there could be a person you go after, you go, oh, they would be wonderful in my business,
mm,
and they're passionate about the direct sales company they're already in. But yet you're a friend, you serve them, you do these good things, and they may send you a referral for
mm,
somebody else
mm,
that joins your team that isn't the right fit for their deal, that was the right fit for yours. They may send you an amazing gift.
mm,
They may be a wonderful friend you can mastermind with. Like there's all these other fruits that may come. What I have to share the story. I get to interview lots of just incredible direct selling executives, and we held a session last August on what it is to maintain long-term relationships with your top field leaders. And I
mm,
had the head of sales from Norwex on, head of sales from Shackley, had the founder of InCruises on, and Hutch shared his idea of how he likes to be a good friend to his highest
mm,
earners with us. And I was blown away by what he does. So I'm going to share Hutch's line. You can go watch the DSEF replay if you want to hear it from his mouth himself. But his line was so funny. He said, I find out who their celebrity crush is. Okay. This is what he likes to do. He figures out who his top earner's celebrity
I
crush
already
is. So
like
like
it. Yep.
George Clooney. This is just fun. And then he goes to cameo.com. So www.cameo.com. If you don't know what cameo.com is, you pay like 500 bucks. And then George Clooney will say happy birthday to Sam,
Oh
right?
my
And
goodness.
so, exactly. So he gets these little videos from their celebrity crush and then happy birthday pops them to him, right? I loved that because Hutch took enough time to figure out like who is this person into, and then he went on Cameo with his own money and went and got them a happy birthday video from their or happy wedding anniversary from George Clooney or whoever it was that they're into or Ariana Grande, whatever singer they did his thing, and that's how he loves on people. So it's just you think in an Amazon world where everything's instant and doesn't take much thought to just pop
Yeah.
into your world, how do you do something that's just that little extra special?
Yeah.
It goes a long
So
way.
good.
That's
I
what my
love that. I
friend
love
is.
that out of box
There you
thinking.
go. Oh
So
yeah.
super clever.
He he
I'm going to check
he
that
he
out.
beat out all the other executives on the panel. It was they were all flabbergasted, like, wow, our ideas are not as good as
Yeah.
what Hush just said. Yeah, that
So
was
good. So
fantastic.
good.
Yeah,
Oh dear. Look, we have unpacked a lot of stuff today, Ben, and we have opened up a lot of
sure.
cans. There's a lot of worms flopping around on the table here. But I want to just ask you, from your personal perspective, your personal
Yeah.
insights, what do you see the future of our industry looking like? I mean, it's come so far, it's changed so much. I really feel that we're in a fairly pivotal time right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to know where you think we're going. Where are we going to be at in the next 18 months, 2 years? What do you see?
Well, you look at what people are hungry for. If you look at your parents' generation or some of you that are older on the line who lived through this, right? If you were at your like height of living in the 80s or the 90s, you remembered when the industry was about like getting things, even the 2000s, right?
Mm,
You wanted to get the car, you wanted to
yeah,
get the house, you wanted to do these other things.
holiday. Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, the holiday, yeah. And today, people want to get experiences, right?
Mm,
And they want to go to this trip, like your holiday as a note. They want to do that trip. They want to go eat at this restaurant. They want to go do this.
mm,
And so what I'm seeing today is because of technology and Zoom and tools and online replicated webinars and predictive mobile apps and all this tech that's in the space, a lot of the actual recruiting and the selling is happening in relationships through technology. We're not
mm,
getting together to actually do the sale at an office or in a home as much as we used to.
mm,
Now, we still don't value that at 100% for longevity. You need real relationships. So I see the future of a lot of teams into doing event-based sprints. And so what I think will happen more and more and more, just because of tools like Airbnb and everything else, is people will go rent an amazing home for 4 days for a weekend that fits 20 people, and then they're gonna go to their team and say, "Hey, gang, we're all doing this sprint. We're all doing this work for the next 30 days." And the top four couples that hit this are coming with me and my wife to the cool house, and we're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna barbecue, and we're gonna mastermind, we're gonna plan out the next 90 days of our team's business. You want to be the one that comes, that's what we're gonna do. And so people are gonna value experiences more. So there'll be more exclusive things like that. And then a lot of this in-person events will change into training, will change into a time of a workshop, of really learning how to do the work. So I think that I mean, I remember when I was building, I was doing opportunity presentations 6 days a week, and
Yeah.
and we had a ton of success, and we did them, but we only trained once a month, and we did opportunity presentations 6 days a week. Where today, if we had that same, um, if there was the same rotation of live events, I would think it would completely flip to less opportunity
Yeah.
presentations, and more training and more
Mm.
celebrations,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of what people are valuing in the community, is coming together and
Mm.
enjoying each other's company and sharing ideas, and I'm seeing that more.
Yeah.
Also seeing, because of just compliance rules all around the world, there's companies forever today. Companies are changing their teams forever. It used to be that they would depend on the field leaders to come up with the content to share, the field leaders to provide the systems to share. Not anymore. The companies many times are realizing now they have to be the one to provide the compliant selling system for people to follow.
Yeah.
And so it's a relationship of top field leaders being on board. You're going to see more and more boards. There's a ton of field boards coming out right now in different direct sales companies. So you're going to see people who are top performers getting to join the insiders field board, and you get to give their feedback to corporate and help create compliant selling systems at work, but are endorsed by the company, and we're seeing a lot of that in this
Yeah.
space.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
think it's going to be a really exciting time, Ben. There's so much. I can see so much shifting and changing, and that one thing that we spoke about before, that biggest can of worms, the stigma around this
sure.
industry. I can see a lot shifting with that too. So I think it'd be really interesting to see what happens in this space.
Yeah,
Mm.
we're seeing these hybrid influencer social retail models right now that are just incredibly fun. Like, we're seeing people who would never promote a direct sales company willing to promote a social retail company. And
Mm.
so we're seeing hybrid programs of people with a huge influence
Yeah.
following others. And so,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it's about you growing as a person and creating more value for others and authentically doing that.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more rewards you will receive when you
Yeah.
let go of that result. You'll be
Yeah.
amazed what will show up.
Yeah, so good. I
Yeah.
think that's the big thing here, isn't it? Authenticity, relationship building, and no hidden agenda. Just get rid of that
Oh,
expectation.
yeah.
Now, I've
Yeah.
got to
It's so
ask our
refreshing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know
Yeah.
what? I think for a lot of people, it'd be like, oh, that actually feels kind of better. Just the concept of that. It's like, you know what? It's really easy. Just let go. Um, but let's ask the fun questions because I want to know. I'm really
Sure.
curious. All right, number one is, what is your favorite book to add to our accelerator book list, Ben?
So my favorite book for business owners right now is Gino Wickman's Traction, with the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So if you're scaling your organization in a way at all where you have employees or roles or seats on your
Mhm.
team, check out Gino Wickman's Traction. And then if you're not scaling with your own employees, but you're just building a team in traditional referral marketing, a really powerful one that was just shared with me, a CEO. I won't share which company he was with, but he just grew his company from 0 to 70 million the first year,
Mm.
180 the second year, and 270 million the third year.
Wow. Yeah.
He referred me to read Training Camp by John Gordon, and love the story of Training Camp by John Gordon. If you haven't yet picked that up, it is such a powerful story, and I would encourage you to check out Training Camp by John Gordon.
All right. I'm going to check that
Uh,
one out. I love it. Awesome. And
yeah.
next question, if you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would it be and why? Man, we've had some fun answers to this
Uh,
one.
so what's great is I've always thought it would be cool to time travel. And it's such a dangerous one, right? It's like a dangerous
I
superpower
know.
because you
It's
could
like
wreck
the living on
everything.
the edge one there.
And it's very scary. But I have those moments where I was always like, can I just go back 30 seconds? Like I could make that so much better. And so I
Can I
really
just
should just
take
keep
that back, what I
thoughts.
just said right there?
Yeah, can I keep thoughts in my head instead of out loud as I'm working through it?
Oh, that's
And
so
so
funny.
no, but I've always been fascinated with time travel. The idea of dimensions and time travel, I think time travel would be the craziest gift. It would be dangerous. It's not an easy one, but
But
what a
would you
gift to
always go
steward.
back, or are there times that you would definitely also go forward?
You would for recon, right? If you get
Yeah.
bored of just going back, you'd want to go forward and then say, okay, now I'm going to go back and do it.
Well, this actually, the very last question, of course, relates to this a little bit as well. I'll let you do a bit of time travel in a moment. So, next question is, what's your favorite quote?
Oh, so man, I have it on my desk. So
Nearly
my
everyone always
mother,
does.
well, my mother gave this to me. She just passed from cancer and is up in heaven. And this is a quote she shared with me years ago from Shakespeare, and
Mm.
it's very freeing in our space. It says, "Love all, trust a few, and do wrong to none." I keep
Ooh,
this rock right
love
here
that.
thinking about that. So you just say, "Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none."
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I love that. That's such a great one. I think, irrelevant of what your religious beliefs are, I think that's
Yeah,
powerful to everyone.
yeah,
Everyone should
exactly.
listen to that.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
time travel. Let's go back in time. If you could go back in time, Ben, and say one thing to your past self, what would that be?
It's all seasons, and is it really going to matter? Yeah.
Oh, what was that? It's all seasons, and is it
It's
really going to matter?
all seasons, and is it really going to matter?
Oh,
I think we
yeah.
all get tied up, whether it's in a high season or a low season, good or bad, whatever label you
Mm,
put on it as you're
yep.
watching today, whatever you're going through right now, you could be in a season of harvest or a season of planting, a good time, a bad time, struggling with a kid. It's that reminder that it's all seasons, right? Which means it's not going to be here forever. And and is this really going to matter? Like, are we fighting battles we don't need to fight where
Yeah.
there's more important things we could do? I tell young people many times, I use a religious term. I say it's the lie of the devil. The biggest lie of the devil is that it will always be this way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in good times and in really bad times where people get desperate, it's because you're feeding yourself, oh my gosh, it's always going to be this way.
Mm, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so when
So
you can kind
powerful.
of say, okay, wait, this is just a season, you'll be a better steward during the big times of your resources, and you won't be as despot in your low times.
Yeah.
So
My mum
yeah.
used this one for me actually in a different context. When I first had kids, she said, just remember it's all a season. It'll change
Mm,
tomorrow and then you'll want that season back.
yeah,
I love it.
it
So
is.
good. But look, Ben, this has been such a great chat. I know our listeners will have taken a ton of notes today. So, look, I really appreciate your time. I know it's late afternoon, possibly even evening for you right now. So, thank you so much for being generous with your time and your knowledge today. We're going to put some information in the show notes. Do you want to let people know how they might be able to reach out to you or find out more about Ben Dixon and Naxum?
Yep, they can contact our team at www.naxum.com. Or if you want to connect with me, I'm more of a LinkedIn person than anywhere else. So isn't that crazy? You change. Grew up as a Facebook guy, now I'm a LinkedIn guy. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'll add that to the notes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We'll pop it all in the show notes, Ben. Look, really appreciate your time. It's been great chatting today. So thank you for joining us.
You got it, Sam. My pleasure.
And thanks as well, of course, to all of our beautiful listeners. Thanks for tuning in to get today. We really appreciate all of you, and we look forward to having you tune into the podcast again next week. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, or make sure that you save us in whatever platform you're listening to us right now, because I know that we've got people on all of the podcast channels. We've got YouTube, we've got social media, but don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. We've got some amazing stuff in the pipeline for you. So thanks again to everybody. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.